Hello and welcome to today's EMBN Show, where we will be diving into a storm which has been created by a story about e-bikes on primetime UK TV.
Steve, are you happy with this programme?
Hey, listen, I'm raging. I am absolutely raging about this story, and so it seems are the rest of the UK cycling industry. It's big news, and it's big news for all the wrong reasons.
Well, I think we have a reputation to look after here because we have been tarred by the same brush as e-bikers as loads of other people, and particularly these illegal kit users. You see lots of couriers and food delivery people in the UK using these bikes in city centres, going really fast because they are basically de-restricted, super powerful, mostly throttle-assisted bikes, and we are being tarred by the e-biker brush, whereas we are using a completely legal system.
Exactly. I think in no way do we condone the behaviour by some of these people on these vehicles in city centres. However, we do take issue with some of the information which was conveyed on that programme. Some very uncool behaviour by certain human beings on quite diverse bikes. But there's actually some knock-on effects which are resulted from stories like this in the media, right?
Exactly. It's not the first time I've seen this in the news. And e-bikers, they are basically saying your Specialized Levo at home is exactly the same as a Sur-Ron or an electric motorbike, which we obviously know
throttle assist.
They're completely different beasts. One is an electric motorbike, one is a pedelec.
Yeah, and more than that, you could argue, that a pedelec is one of the slowest vehicles on the street because it's restricted to 15 mile an hour. And I think, like you said, one of the issues from this story was the fact that e-bikes are merged with illegal bikes, and also bikes. They're comparing them to bikes which are actually properly constructed, like bikes such as the Levo, motors such as Bosch and Shimano and Yamaha and such as that. Could we go into maybe some of the failures of that program then? At certain points, I did feel that the program was leaning more towards drama than actually delivering proper factual information about e-bikes.
Exactly, there are regulations there for people like us, and there's all these other people who aren't sticking to these regulations, and they're building their own bikes or they're riding bikes that need to be tax insured, MOT'd, and they're not.
Yeah, I think an interesting point on is that they didn't speak to any expert shops, and we'll come on to some comments from some of the owners of shops in a minute, but the fact that they failed to distinguish between pedal assist, which are pedelecs, and speed pedelecs. You can get such bikes as speed pedelecs all over Europe, which are actually have got a high restriction at 45 kilometers an hour. Now, I know it's a very complicated story.
Even the difference from countries in Europe to the UK, the regulations differ wildly. And in fact, you really don't see many legal speed pedelecs in the UK.
But nevertheless, you can actually have an e-bike which is 45 kilometers an hour. You can use it only on roads, but if you tax it and register it, it's totally legal. I mean,
you can't ride on a cycle path.
Well, the thing is, let's say we'll come into this in a minute, right? But it comes down to vehicles, regulations, and people. So actually, the bottom line with this story, they could have delivered it in 10 minutes. It comes down to the vehicles in urban areas, the regulation in urban areas. I mean, nobody's allowed to cycle on footpaths anyway. And also the people that are using these different vehicles.
And there is, the elephant in the room for me is, you're not allowed to ride it on cyclepaths. You're definitely not allowed to ride them through the middle of London on paths nicking people's phones. And that is happening it's not happening on your Specialized Levos.
So there's another story here, right, is the fact that the piece actually merged theft with e-bikes. They didn't actually need to do that. Theft occurs anyway. I mean, just how there's a story about deaths on the roads in the UK. Last year alone, 1,600 deaths or more created by cars on roads. I mean, the e-bike is actually an answer to such things as pollution, to safety, and to people's health. Now, I'm now going to read out a piece from Cycling Industry News, who interviewed Ben Giaconelli of Fully Charged here in the UK. Ben says, if something is not done about this, we will continue to see the UK remain 10 years behind the rest of Europe. Then the UK will not benefit from all the benefits of future-proof transport culture with more cycling in our cities. The electric bike improves so much for people and broader society, such as obesity, reduced urban congestion and pollution, the improvement on people's mental health as well. The list is endless. On behalf of bike retailers, I can sadly say that more good people will leave the industry should this false news continue in 2025. That's pretty heavy hitting, but it's actually accurate, right?
Yeah, I mean, like we've already said, I suppose, is we are regulated. If you play by the rules, we are regulated. And it's this other side of the fence that the regulations are there for these electric motorbikes or even S-pedelecs, but it's not being enforced, or the police are finding it almost unenforceable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, going back to what I mentioned earlier, right? It comes down to vehicles regulation and people. We've already spoken about regulation, but if you think about the vehicles which are used in UK cities, you've got road bicycles, right? Like our colleagues on GCN. You could argue, like I mentioned earlier, like a road bicycle can actually go endless speed, depending on the rider. You've got electric vehicles in the UK centres, and you can include maybe e-bikes, e-cars, scooters and such things as that. And then, of course, you've got the internal combustion engine. So there's 3-4 different types of vehicle. The bottom line, Don, is that irrespective of the vehicle that they're using, these, what do we call them? We call them donuts, whatever they are, irresponsible people. It's the person thing, it's not the vehicle thing, right?
Yeah, it feels a bit like Pandora's box a little bit when you've got these, the bikes being the problem, where they're not, it's the people using the bikes, but the bikes need to be kept in check as well, I suppose.
I'm raging, actually. I'm just forgotten some other things that came with the programme. Right, the thing is, they talked about these illegal kits, and they went on to mention, what should I say, it's widely recognised that e-bikes catch fire, which is not correct. I know our colleagues at Giant, they've never actually had a fire from an e-bike battery because they're properly made batteries. But it's actually, let's get this correct here. It's actually, more often than not, it's not the kit which is the problem. It's the inexperienced people putting the kits onto bikes with incorrect electrical fittings and such as that, which is actually creating some of the fires, right? Totally. So again, that comes down to badly researched and reported stories. Got another quote here, actually, from Mark Sutton, who is the managing editor at Cycling Electric and is a freelance writer as well. He says, last night's BBC Panorama was the latest in a long road of poor examples of the press educating the public about electric bikes, conflating them with e-motorbikes. This, shops tell me, is driving real economic harm and job losses. There's a fantastic piece by Mark Sutton that's on his LinkedIn page, and if you want to have a read of the full story, check out that. It's really in-depth and really insightful. So, where does that leave us, Don?
Well, as I said earlier, it sort of leaves us fighting for our reputation as e-bikers. And how do we differentiate ourselves from the people that are riding electric motorbikes or even S-pedelecs? Just
one other thing before we leave the subject is, we're very much this is very much a UK story, but if you want to look at if we're talking regulation here, right? And there was a lot of regulation missing out of the research. If you just take a look at the regulation on e-bikes in America alone, every different state has different regulations. In some states, you don't have to wear a helmet. In some states, the power is like double what we've got here in the UK. Obviously, the speed in America is 30 compared to 25 over here. I mean, globally, there's just such a diverse range of regulations when it comes to e-bikes, isn't there?
Yeah, you see a lot more throttle-assisted pedal bikes over there as well. But it's good to see, the mountain bike industry is sticking by pedelecs worldwide.
Which is what we stick to here on EMBN. Folks, let us know your thoughts on this whole subject. If you feel strongly about it, please leave a comment down below on this video.
Right, Steve, have you finished your rage? We can get into some more positive.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because I've got some new bikes to talk about now, Steve, which is much more exciting. We've got a Commencal Tempo Power, as ridden by Hugo Fridell in this banging little video.
Very fast, very stylish.
Thank you. Oh, and Hugo as well. Bosch SX.
That's rich coming from a top 10 World Cup downhill racer.
Yeah.
He'd never tell you that, though. He would never tell you that.
This is a Bosch SX motor, so obviously 55 newton meters, 600 watt peak power if you want to spin really fast. 400 watt hour non-removable battery, and you can run the 250 watt hour power model extender. Alloy frame, as we know, as you might know, Commencal only do alloy, so it's 29 with a lifetime warranty for the original owner. 135 rear travel, so quite a nimble, fruity little machine. 150 fork, 60 volt head angle. 2 different size chainstays, small and medium is 445, bumping up to 450 on the large and XL. Reach is 485 on a large, starting at 5,600 euros for the Essential, up to 8,000 euros on the Signature. From the Sublime to, Steve, to the consumer.
Hold on, hold your Shropshire horses just a minute. Max Commencal, if you're watching this video, I want to ride this bike. I think it looks absolutely stunning.
You got the Fridell moves in you still?
The thing is, right, people talk about, high power bikes, low power bikes, lightweight bikes, blah, 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 blah. That is just a bike I would love to ride. That's a bike I would love to have in my garage.
You don't see many sort of short travel trail bikes like that, do you, really?
I think on a UK trail centre, or indeed any kind of trail centre, this kind of bike definitely has a place. And I just love the name, Tempo. It's
good
name. Why has no one covered Tempo before? Sorry, you were saying from the Sublime to what?
To the Segway. Segway, famous for making those...
crikey.
I don't know what you call them, Segways.
Okay, this is actually going to be my first look at what the Don has got on the table here.
So the Consumer Electronics Show is happening in Las Vegas, and they've announced 2 bikes. One of them is an S-pedelec, and this Zafari, really great name, I'm sure you'll agree, is, get ready, it is a step-through all-terrain cruiser with a max assist of 20 miles per hour and a 750 watt-hour hub drive motor. 175 newton meters, Steve.
Whoa.
80 mil of front travel, talking about short travel bikes.
The thing is though, right, I mean, let's be careful, because I think on UK roads, if you're commuting, like we've said many times on the channel, I think 20 mile per hour is better than 15 miles per hour. Like I said, our colleagues on GCN are probably doing an average speed of 25 to 30 miles an hour most of the time anyway. Right?
I thought you'd like that one, Steve, and it was quite in topic with what we were talking about earlier on. And
hey, hold on. Are you suggesting that that's my kind of thing?
I think you look good with that. Your shopping bags on the back.
You're such a donut sometimes.
Anyway, moving on to, I think this is really cool. So this is an Argo Cargo Kit 2.0.
Argo Cargo.
You can make any bike into a cargo bike.
Where do you get this kind of stuff?
I actually have a sort of cargo bike. It's a Orbea Catu 20-inch machine with a basket up front. I love it. Around Bath, around this town, for the hills, for delivering kids and crates of beer. It's brilliant. Now, this seems like a perfect kit for an e-bike.
What's the price on this, Don?
This is $1,099 at the moment. It's actually sort of in launch phase, but it's going up to $1,299.
So what's involved in the kit then? Does this turn your bike into a hub drive e-bike, right?
No. Just it replaces the front of your bike. So if you've already, this can go on any bike. But if you've got yourself an electric bike already, it seems like a perfect idea to bolt one of these on as and when. It's got Tektro hydraulic disc brake up front with electric bike cut-off switch. So when we hit the brake, it turns off. Removable bench. It's got a kickstand, 2 child safety harnesses.
Do you know what I'm thinking?
Yeah, go on.
I'm thinking you and the wife and the 3 children can take one of these. You can have the 3 kids in the front of that. You can have, Leanne can have her bike as well as all the camping gear.
Yeah.
And you can go on a great camping adventure.
Yeah, I like the idea of this because cargo bikes are great. You see them around the cities a lot, but they're obviously quite spendy machines. But you could repurpose any bike.
No mention of cargo e-bikes in that documentary.
True. Yeah.
God, honestly, the list goes on. Okay, folks, cool places. Starting off with Drahos in Bratislava. The sun is shining, 0 degrees and a little bit of mud in the track rail. Next up, Rocky Mountain Power Play Altitude in Tinset in Norway. This is from Gunnar Astrom.
Look at that.
We need to go to Norway, Don.
I've ridden in Sweden a couple of times, not Norway, obviously, but close.
And next up is Fernando Martins in Sintra, Portugal. Very nice and sunny morning ride on my Scott Patron.
Steve,
I know what you're going to say.
I thought I'd get you motivated because you're heading that way, Portugal.
We will be heading to Portugal very soon on EMBN, and we're going to be bringing you some very hot news of some new bikes from a company which obviously I'm going to keep under wraps until then.
Obviously, I did the show this week. I organised it because I was getting inspired by, well, you're going to Sintra, but I really want to go. I've talked about this loads of times. I want to go to British Columbia and ride an e-bike. But this is Adam.
Why don't we go together?
We shall. This is Adam's Crestline RS180 on Mort Lake Trail. Lots of rainfall on this island over winter. However, the trails are very well built with numerous rock slabs, hand-placed rock armouring and good drainage. Look at that. What a view.
Are you looking forward to doing some rock climbing on EMBN?
I'm not that good at it, so...
I'm not asking you. So are you looking forward to
No,
doing
I'm not really, but I want to just go for a nice ride. Into some feedback from you lovely viewers. We had loads, actually the previous 2 shows, we were talking about what you'd all like to see. And there's a really good one here from Kev B, who says, missing a big thing that I really want to see, longer warranties as standard for eMTBs. When you're buying a bike north of 4K with its electric, etc., then the warranty should be 3 to 4 years minimum. A 2-year warranty is just not enough for a bike so expensive. Currently, it's very easy for manufacturers to boast numbers such as Newton meters, weight and wattage. When it only has to last 2 years, then that's actually pretty easy to do. But making a motor last 4 years under warranty is far more impressive than a new powerful motor with a touchscreen.
What a great comment, feedback. I think there's a few things here, isn't there, really? I think the first one is maybe the 2-year warranty is a hangover from mountain bikes. I guess with an E-man bike, you're covering twice the distance in the same amount of time, so you're going to get increased use. So that you can't have the same. An e-bike gets more use than a mountain bike in the same space of time, right? So you're going to get more use out of it.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, with cars, they'll do years or mileage, whatever comes first.
Are you telling me that I've
never bought a new car, so I don't really know what I'm talking about.
I think we would like to, and I think this last point, more than all of the parts of this feedback, is the fact that, he'd like to see a 4-year warranty being, which it is true, is more useful and valuable than more power and a touchscreen display.
It would be a big talking point, wouldn't it? If a brand came out and said, this is what you get,
You're giving them ideas.
They'd sit up and take notice.
Some of these brand managers will be watching this and going, whoa.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, more warranty time and less power. Because let's face it, I mean, like I said last week, the tyre is going to make more of a difference than the power.
Into the bike vault, and we've got some lovely bikes. I think, is it a full super nice week? Maybe. Brian Cohen riding it's Merida E160 on one of the many trails in Richmond Ranges, Nelson, New Zealand.
Super nice.
Yeah, isn't it just?
James's Cube AMS Hybrid 144, maiden voyage. I love the colour. That's a super nice. And then, common style Meta Power SX Signature, custom building mullet edition 160, 170.
Thomas. That is a beautiful looking machine. That is super.
A nice bit of flair in there too.
Yeah, true.
And 2 more left. First of all is from Beast Fam. This is a YT decoy called 5. WTB, that's super nice.
First e-bike and love it, Bees Fam says.
And then here we go. Wouldn't be long with it.
The folders are filling up with Amflows, I'm telling you. They are, we're seeing them.
John Archinul, this looks like the South Downs. No, it's the North Downs.
Well, actually, is it close? Isn't that? I think North Downs isn't that close.
Yeah, it's the same southeast of England territory. Actually, it's not the last one. There is one more. This is an Old Bayer.
Look at that. This is Ray. It's a gift to himself for retirement. Replaces my Cube hybrid race. Look how fancy it is. Zoom into that.
Do you know what? That
fancy.
Look at that. That is primo.
It's good, isn't it?
That is primo. Looks like a nice bit of brick wall in the background, but you got the black and the brick and the green. Would you have AstroTurf in your garden, Don?
No, I don't think it's very good for the flora and fauna. Well, obviously not for the
But
flora.
what about the kids? The kids can play outside all year long. Yeah. I'm not saying that that's AstroTurf, just want to know what your thoughts are on AstroTurf.
I don't like it, I'm afraid.
Folks, some fantastic bike vault submissions. Keep them coming. And like Don said, I think there seems to be a lot of Amflow bikes coming into the bike vault.
Couple of banging little, well, I say banging, one's banging it. Obviously, we talked about it already. Hugo Frixon riding that Commencal tempo. Check the video out. It's short, but very sweet.
And then BK is an interesting follow. He is an Amflow and is tearing it apart, inspect it and upgrade it, including installing a deeper headset compression ring off a specialised tarmac to get rid of the headset creak.
Yeah, super interesting guy who looks to be a very experienced mechanic who's took his bike apart to measure the alignment of the frame and the build of it. And check him out on Instagram.
Okay, that's it for this week's EMBN Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up on the channel in the next few days, the Don is going to be taking an in-depth look at wheels. It's a big subject, Neil, isn't it? I mean,
Isn't it just?
In terms of performance, you've got so many features there. You've got the rim width, rim material, spoke count. You've got the free hub engagement and all that. I think it's a big upgrade to have. And then on Sunday, because of the increasing amount of types or categories of e-bikes, I've tried to simplify it by a basic introduction to maybe the 7 or 10 different types of e-mounted bike you should be thinking about if you're looking to buy your first one.
Was it 7 or is it 10?
I don't know just yet.